You're listening to the Elevated News Podcast with two dope dudes. Here are your hosts, Dave and Aaron. Welcome to the Elevated News Podcast with two dope dudes. We're a podcast focused on discussing local and national cannabis news and culture. I'm Aaron, pointing at myself. Point at Dave now.
Hey, I'm pointing at you, point at me. It's me.
Yeah. Our moods are sponsored by Il Dad Life. IL Dad Life on Instagram. Met him at the Urban Legends Cup. Gave me some really great stuff that we just toked on before the episode. So
Nice.
Yeah. Shout out to him. But yeah, hey, what's going on, dude? How are you?
I am fantastic.
That's usually how we start the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a right neck issue again.
Dude, your right neck again.
Right neck hurts.
Have you thought about going and getting a massage? Maybe some like physical therapy or something like that? I know somebody.
No,
cool.
I get massages at home.
Okay.
And my physical therapy is throwing frisbees in the woods with my friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel pretty good after both of them. Motion is lotion.
Motion is lotion.
Motion is lotion.
So is CBD.
Ooh, I've been using that stuff.
It's great.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's actual medicine.
Yeah, I would like to see a higher abundance available at it at a cheaper price. But we actually got some friends who do some pretty good, priced, pretty cost-effective CBD.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I would like to see it cheaper, but I would also like to see it in higher doses.
Oh man,
You know what I'm
Big
saying?
time.
I think that's where the sweet spot for the price point and the effective dosing. You know,
yeah.
like,
The
like
jury's still out on what the proper dose of CBD should be.
really.
Yeah, of course.
I
That's
agree.
the whole point. Is like it's not as much as it is measurable in plenty of ways, and as much
Yeah.
as there is science and math that support what we know the plant to be,
Mhm.
how it interacts with us is still. We're learning new shit every single day.
Sure.
I think they just. I saw some today or yesterday or some that they were doing studies on lab rats and the liver enzymes. I think it's like alpha and anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's one of the enzymes of our liver
Mhm.
was being promoted to do apoptosis, which is naturally regenerate itself, kill
Right.
itself off, the thing that all of our
Yeah.
cells are doing.
Constantly.
Right, and it was regulating it, and they're starting to believe that maybe if you have liver enzyme issues, CBD is one of the best things that could possibly be out there. And it's just every day or every week we're seeing a new study, pretty much, that's saying in some lab somewhere or in some research group there is positive information coming out about cannabis and
Yeah.
CBD, especially cannabidiol. It's without a doubt. I don't know. It's one of the coolest things that's being studied in cannabis now, I think.
It's great that we are actually studying it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's great that we live in the time where like things are starting to like really be in motion, and we could actually, if certain things don't get in our way, we can actually really create some good technologies and really advance our understanding.
When we're talking on the scale or on the with the reward of being a direct treatment of cancer and
Mhm.
epilepsy and things of that nature, it is unbelievably beneficial for us to know, to have a genuine understanding of why this thing works comparatively to something else, and why you wouldn't have to synthesize some fucking chemical in a laboratory, and instead you can process a plant and get exactly what you needed out of it from the beginning. But hey, who the fuck are we?
Just two dope dudes
That's what I'm saying.
doing a podcast.
Just one dope ass culture out there trying
Well,
to promote a plant that we all know actually benefits. And then, like I said, it's for you and I, and for the average just daily consumer, without understanding the impact that it has on your physiology, your actual true well-being,
right.
because we don't suffer from some of the things like epilepsy, or seeing it, feeling like it is the actual thing that changed you from having cancer in your system to not having cancer, or the thing that made you stop using a walker when you used to
Right.
use a walker every day. Knowing that this plant was the thing that delivered that to you, it becomes so much more impactful, and it means so much fucking more individually, but also
Collectively.
culturally
Yeah.
too. In the entire, yeah, collectively, every single one of us benefits from knowing that somebody else out there had a breakthrough, we could even call it. And even then, I call them glory stories a lot
Right.
of times. We're going, shit, what was it? What was the thing? Was it because of the THC amount? Because that's the only thing we fucking measure. Or
Right.
was it because we actually incorporated CBD finally? Because we need to incorporate CBD probably most of the time, at least in some quantity, because it regulates one of the systems of our body. When it synergistically plays with um, our immune system, and
Hmm.
and our it's got to be something that you promote and keep in line. And CBD, as much, I mean, THC, CB1 receptors, that's in the
Right.
brain, that's neurological. And then CB2, that's in the body, through the body most of the time. It promotes and synergistically plays on the immune system. So why not promote both? Why not have the best of both worlds? But it's not just the cannabinoids that's doing it. It's also the terpenoids that
Yep.
seem to be playing. Beta carotene, we know, directly interacts with our CB2 receptors. We know that it directly interacts with CB1 receptors as well, but it seems to be in more abundance in CB2. So then, is it that beta carotene is more important, or is it because CBD is more important? Well, it's not maybe one nor the other as much as both of them together.
Isn't is beta carotene like
Pepper,
right? No,
black
no,
pepper.
you're right. But isn't it also one of the like carriers that helps the CBD be more effective?
Well, in in
Right?
in in the
Because
same
there's
right,
certain.
when people talk about, if anybody out there knows about turmeric,
Mhm.
people say that using turmeric is best effective when you put black pepper in it.
Right.
Any single
Right.
person who just heard me say it, they're like, that is what the fuck they
Yeah.
say. Yeah, because it's beta carotene. Turmeric in itself is an anti-inflammatory, it seems. It has a bunch of decent medical properties as well. But when you call upon something else that naturally is playing synergistically in another portion of our system, including the anti-inflammatory parts of it, then, is it that turmeric is the wonder drug that everybody wants it to be? Well, no, it's probably that maybe a little bit of that should be used in conjunction
Yeah.
with a little bit of this, and entourage effect, or I just think best of the whole world, whatever is available out there. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's an abundance of one thing versus the other as much as it is ticking all the boxes and saying, maybe I need a little bit of all of it to
Yeah,
regulate
for
the
sure.
system. Yeah.
I like it.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Hey, ill dad. What was his name?
IL Dad Life.
Hey, this shit got me talking.
Yeah, this shit got you talking.
Yeah, I love cannabis though,
I
man,
know you
and
do.
I genuinely like to get it right for people, because it's such an individual experience, and it's not just it's not one thing as much as it is everything.
It requires more personal work, and you probably should talk to somebody who is very experienced in it, and probably not, your local bud tender.
And some of them are great. Some of them know some things, but how many of them understand medicine, or understand at least the basic function of our human DNA? And it's not that you need to be some fucking extensive scientist. I only took some classes on some things,
Right.
and I was just more willing to speak openly. So my knowledge, I mean, it's more I guess, anecdotal at a point. I talked to way more people who were going through medical experiences, and there seems to be a common underline. But
I was trying to look up a message. I was talking to somebody the other day who's a medical patient, and he had something on his story about what he overheard the bud tender tell a medical patient, and it was wild. And but the story disappeared, so I don't remember what it is anymore.
you
But like, I
should.
just wanted, because that reminded me, because we started talking about bud tenders and what they may or may not know. He also had a comment about he heard somebody, a bud tender, try and sell smokables to a remission lung cancer patient.
I'm not as
Yeah,
offended by it.
for
I dig
sure.
what's
The
going.
the other one was like wild. I was like,
Well,
that's unbelievable.
but you have like, I worked in it.
I know.
I watched people say shit to people that I went, what the fuck are
Mhm.
you fucking talking? Who do you know that ever said to do any of that? And you don't. A lot of these people were the definition of, I mean, it's whatever they call it, like fucking mansplaining, right? And it's
Yeah.
not that that's what it's a man of anything, but
Right.
like they were fucking making shit up,
Yeah.
calling it truth, and forcing it down people's throat. And it's not this, I don't know. You're the fucking expert in this setting, so
Right.
people are gonna take what you say
As-
pretty personally.
yeah.
It's fucking gold to them, right? It's the only thing that they're hearing from anybody. So at the end of it, if they are just receiving, for lack of better words, some mansplained information, some fucking I experienced it once, and I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, actually, stuff. Well, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that is what should represent all of us or any of us in the cannabis industry. But I watched some of the craziest shit, and I watched some people say some of the. I'm going, what? Where the fuck did you hear that? Why would you? And it's not that anything is wrong. This is what I used to tell everybody when they first became a bud tender. Nothing you're going to tell them is necessarily wrong unless you tell them to do too much of something, right?
Right.
Then you're being ignorant. But like at the same time, explaining what you know about the plant and what you can
Yeah.
actually represent of it, even if it's just read statistics off the side of the
Sure.
bottle, be able to know the damn statistics off
Right.
the side of the bottle, know something about the damn plant. You know, instead, people were sitting there and they were just label readers, people who could tell you what every percentage
Yeah.
of THC from every different plant that we had back there ready to be sold. They could tell you without looking at the menu, and they thought they were the coolest shit. They knew everything about weed, right? But then the second a medical patient would sit in front of them and go, hey, I got inflammation. And they go, okay, what's that? And they go, well, that's what causes my pain. And then they go, oh, okay, cool, pain. Let's get you some high THC, get out the door. And then it's like, wait,
What?
Why does that matter?
Yeah.
Is there something right about using THC for pain?
Yeah.
Minimally, right? But when the person
Mentally.
just said that inflammation will correct, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a breakthrough. But what's the difference if we have a person who's actually fucking using medicine?
What were we saying?
Fuck if I know.
I have no idea. Let's do plugs.
Let's do plug.
Jesus.
It's all good.
No, I know. I'm just taking a second to chill.
Oh yeah.
This dude was not chill. You can find us, the Elevated News Podcast, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all your other favorite streaming and podcast apps. You can find us at the Two Dope Dudes YouTube channel. Please give us a like and leave a review. This helps us reach more people. You can also find us on supportdopepeople.com, along with links to our other pods and free stickers just by providing your email and address. You can also email us at the Two Dope Dudes podcast at gmail.com for all your questions or things you'd like us to talk about. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Dave, and we're the Two Dope Dudes. We're here to tell you about the Crop Culture Box, where you get a curated selection of quality grow items and seeds to help you plant with a purpose.
Use our code 2DOPEDUDES for $10 off any box, $100 or more for new customers. Get the Goat Holiday Box and check out their selection of seeds too.
That's cropculture.net. Use the code 2DOPEDUDES.
Please and thanks. But also, Support Chris. He's a badass dude. He's got a lot of cool things going on. He's really trying to put together, and he is putting together really cool boxes. And it's not some like I don't want to like gimmicky subscription thing. You actually go in there, buy the things that you
Mhm.
want. He's got a really cool system of getting some add-ons and some. I check it out. If nothing else, go to cropculture.net and check out what Chris is doing over there. It is
Yeah,
super.
He's got a seed vault too. You can get stuff from his personal seed vault,
Cool.
which is fire. And he's got some of his own genetics, begonia blue sky, real great stuff. I went over and helped him smell it a couple weeks ago. Identified some smells.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's super sweet.
Chris, you're awesome.
Chris, I do love you, pal.
Also, shout out to the two other crop crew who probably don't listen to this podcast, but that's Marina Joanna High Tide on Instagram and El Connoisseur.
Yeah.
Both have been featured pretty prominently on like AC Infinity, and I know it was MJ BizCon. They've been on a couple podcasts. They're the other two you can use to get stuff off for crop culture. But you know, shout out us. It's three of us. So
Hell yeah. That's
us,
what's up.
us and those two. So yeah, cool.
Very
Shout out
cool.
to the crop crew.
Crop crew.
Yeah.
We're just crop dusting this whole place.
Crop dust.
We're just trying to dust it up.
Yeah.
Also, too, if you guys don't mind, I run a live segment Thursday nights, Peace, Love, and Cope on YouTube. I am 8 p.m. Central Time. I would love to have you come hang out. We play some games. We talk a little cannabis, a little culture, just try and make everybody happy and smile. It is a little adulty at times. It's a little...
Well, it's late night, so
It's
if
late
you
night,
shouldn't
it
be
is
10
eight-
years old and up past midnight on a Thursday anyway.
Right.
If you are, you're looking for it.
It's 18 plus anyway,
Yeah.
according to YouTube standards. You have to sign in and recognize your own birthday. So I would appreciate y'all coming to hang out. If you have any questions, please feel free. I'm always here. I love to answer.
Yep.
And yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
it's good times.
Yeah, thank you.
I need to have a Thursday where I can come back and hang out. I haven't hung out in a couple of weeks, dude. It's been
I was
been
gone.
crazy.
I've gone
you were
I've
gone
been like
too.
on off a couple of weeks, and I actually miss them people when I'm not there. I love the little community that is, and I laugh. I genuinely, it's like I laugh like I don't laugh sometimes through the rest
Yeah.
of the week. I get them belly giggles going on, and there is some.
It's a lot of the same disc golf crew that we disc golf with. So like Thursdays is always fun because like get off work, go play disc golf, and then like
Yeah.
be done in time to watch the live stream. And it's just all the same people because we
Disc
just all
golf
came from the disc
crew.
golf.
I got a bunch
Yeah.
of my cannabis friends from
Yeah.
the cannabis
True.
market,
Shout out drummer.
right?
Shout out who else?
Dudley.
Dudley, yeah, that's
fucking-
right.
I mean, there's family that comes in,
Yeah.
Colleen and Cody, and cousin Matt comes in sometimes too. Like I have a decent amount of family and friends, and it's just a small culture of people, a small group of people who appreciate the culture, who also just want to have some fun. It's low key. It's
Mhm.
a ton of fun though. So if you're listening to this and you're not coming to see me on Thursday night,
You should.
at least have a good excuse.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
But honestly, smile always. That's my
Smile always.
smile always. We
Uh,
did. Hey,
You want to do?
our buddy.
Yeah, Briggs.
I like Briggs.
Briggs is awesome.
Question number one, who are you?
So I'm Briggs.
And Briggs, what do you do?
I am the owner of Spliff Society, and we purvey in only the premium smokables, cones, palms, full lineup.
Who in this space do you think is doing dope things?
You know, I got to shout out 8 decades. So I do have accessories such as grinders, stash boxes, rolling trays, but these guys, the stainless steel setup they have, they're doing it right. And I appreciate the effort they put into it, and I know it's hard to do a premium product in a small market.
And check out the Weedman Chronicles, their podcast. And what kind of things in your space are dope to you right now?
I'm sorry, one more?
What kind of things in your space do you think is dope right now?
Oh man, just the networking events. There's so much out there. Every week you could be somewhere with different types of industries. You meet different professionals, a lot of different connections. So you know what? If you haven't been out, all you have to do is look at Profesh Sesh. They have their last event of the year coming up, and it's always a jam. So come on out to that.
And how can we support you, Briggs?
You know what? Support small business. We're all at higher cost because we're not at scale, and it's a little harder to get started. So, this holiday season, come on out to the vending shows. We've lots of events. We got going to be throwing something together. And yeah, just support us. Appreciate you.
Cool. Thank you for your time.
Briggs is he is the coolest. He's like that guy. He's like the older brother that like you just want to be like, because he is. You can just tell he is just so smooth.
Yeah, he's smooth. I was
he's
literally
so
just going to say
smooth.
smooth about it.
Yeah,
I
dude.
like that.
Yeah, Briggs is awesome. I love that guy.
No, honestly, he does a very cool.
SpliffSociety.org.
Yeah, Spliff Society. They do, like you said, it's wraps and cones and
Palm leaves.
Yeah, some of the joint papers. Is it okay to? I don't want to like downplay his product and call them joint papers, but it is a thing that you're gonna fill to smoke your cannabis through.
Yep.
Some of them are like brilliantly put together to burn longer, to not run on you, but also too like
it tastes
with
good.
Right. I mean, he's like using like rose petals and
Rose
stuff,
petals,
right?
goji berry.
Yeah.
The blue lotus is actually my favorite because it has a very faint taste, and you can pair it with certain terpenoids. Like if you like the more, I have some. As you know, we have some friends who like the more flowery terps.
Yeah.
More new guava kind of stuff, and it pairs very well with it, and
Nice.
it doesn't overpower the flavor of the weed
Nice.
or the cannabis.
Nice.
Or marijuana or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can call it what you want.
Which
to.
I enjoy because I like the flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know.
He brands very well. He's got,
oh my God,
he's
yes.
got
the coolest box.
He's got a couple different stash boxes that are really nice. He's got, and do you know, him and Mr. CBD partnered
Yeah.
for, some, I believe it is USDA certified THCA hemp.
Nice.
Already in the rolls. I think you can
Nice.
get those from Mr. CBD.
Nice.
right
That's
now.
super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe that's
Very nice.
with Go Genetics weed, cannabis as well.
Nice.
Hemp, THCA hemp,
Nice.
CBD, whatever it is.
That's super cool.
I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah. I don't
That's
want to
super
misspeak.
Cool.
Yeah. So that is one of the great things about some of the stuff we're doing is just people getting together and being in a available space to collaborate. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Just to be able to have a space to collaborate and to come together and help each other and help ourselves is super important. And that's why we need to push the culture continually.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. This for a long time, it was something that we all had to hide and run away from, and we were the outcasts because of, and to preserve that outcastiness of it, right? Like, because I don't want a bunch of people to come in
Right.
and dirty up what all of us had to go through. I think that's one of the hardest things for a lot of us to accept.
You're not wrong.
Is that we put in so much effort to avoid conflict, let's call it, to use this plant that we were getting a benefit from, whatever the fuck the benefit be. You don't have to call it medical rec, nothing. It doesn't matter. We were getting a benefit from, and then we were left to feel guilty because of it.
Right.
That's the culture of this thing. That's more of the
we had to
truth
hide.
of where we came from. So a lot of outcasts were people who were sitting back, and it was easy to meet up with other outcasts and to be still the cool kids, right? And we didn't need the approval of everybody or anybody realistically, because we had the approval of each other, but also we had the comfort from the plant to begin with. So to me, it is embodying that to bring together smaller people who are Mr. CBD, Bob's Exotics, fucking Crop Culture Chris, fucking goat genetics, the people who have been doing it for nothing but passion,
Right.
100% because they believe in the plant itself. Fucking Charlie,
Charlie
too.
and
Like
Rochelle.
Charlie
Yeah,
and
Charlie and
Rochelle. I
Rochelle.
mean, they go.
Yeah.
It's so cool to have all of these people. I mean, Kelly doing what she's doing, fucking, every single
Andrew.
person that we've met, 100%
I mean,
love that,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, for sure.
There are so many cool people who still passionately care about the plant and want to represent it in the light that we all know it to be, and it doesn't need to be some fucking fake packaging, some fake
Nope.
numbers, some anything. This
Nope.
thing will survive without being taxed at fucking 36%. And, whatever, there's got to be some kind of level of agreeance
Well.
and acceptance. And what they're doing right now, at some points to a lot of us,
What we're doing right now,
well, what
we're pushing the cannabis culture. We're continuously trying to cultivate and push the cannabis culture in Illinois.
we are the one end
yeah.
of the tug of war going
Yeah.
on against the other side that is that 36% pullback from taxes. That is that MSO monopolies almost taking over an industry that, wait a minute, you mean to tell me these guys can have 1,000,000 square foot warehouses with the only 60 fucking dispensaries in the entire state? They can own all of it and make millions and millions and millions of dollars on the backs of the passionate without any regard for the culture or without any regard for the longevity of the plant or they don't give a flying
Well,
fuck. They
the
care about-
corporation doesn't care.
well, it's
and so-
profit, and I understand
right.
that. I'm not mad at people profiting, but I'm mad that it's not our people profiting. That's
Well,
the thing that
I
pisses
think
me off more than anything.
I have met some people. I have met some people who are part owners on some dispensaries and stuff like that across the country, including here. And what I have noticed, what my experience has been, is that I've met some people who are in on the legal side, and they're also in on the illegal side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but what it seems to me, it's a lot of single people that are in, but you don't meet the corporation, because the corporation is not a person. So
It's not.
It's a lot of different people who I think some of those people are our people, and I think they are profiting, but I think trying to enact change is hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's not all the people.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I just
you know
think
what I
that
mean?
the
But,
ones that are
yeah. Well, who writes those rules, Dave? Who allows that to happen? Who allows that to happen?
That's my whole point to it. Is
Yeah.
the culture is being destroyed, and not being destroyed. There is a tug of war. It is the passionate over here,
Yep.
and the badasses doing what they're doing are what'd you call it? The crop cult, or
The crop crew?
no,
Bob. No, I don't want to say that out loud. The cannabis cult.
yeah, that was great.
I thought it was great.
That's
I
the
don't
best.
want people to get offended by it.
What does it matter?
Well, I don't know.
Don't
because-
get offended.
Well,
There's
yeah,
nothing
please
about
don't.
it. That's the coolest shit in the whole world. It's not even. I don't think it's bad. And if you misinterpret words and you're offended by words,
No, I just didn't want
ain't gonna
anybody
probably be listening to us anymore.
from our we're talking about a networking group that we're involved in, a group of people who are, collaborating and getting together and
there's some
doing things,
badasses.
and it's a really badass room. And one of our friends called it Cannabis Cult to me. He was like, "Oh yeah, me and Aaron go to Cannabis Cult together," and I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
It's
But
fire.
the people
it's
who-
kind of cool.
The
I'm
people
into
who
it.
put it on, it's not a cult. It's a regular thing. But I just don't want the people who put it on to be like offended by that or something or misinterpret that. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because I'm very grateful to be there.
I'm drinking their Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I'm drinking their Kool-Aid too.
I'm drinking their hexagon water, bro.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Hey, we've been going like almost 40 minutes. You want to get into some of this stuff? Because
Yeah,
this is pretty cool. we don't have to get into all of it. And I know you're on a roll, but I think this is pretty cool. This is our neighbors to the north of us, Wisconsin.
This is really neat. I saw this also.
This article came out, and it says, this is from Madison.com. Small amounts of marijuana decriminalized under bipartisan Wisconsin bill. And it says, possession of up to 14 grams of marijuana would be decriminalized under bipartisan Wisconsin bill announced Friday. The proposal, which was announced in a memo seeking legislative support and mirrors a bill the same authors released in 2021, would almost certainly be signed into law by Democratic Governor Tony Evers, but it's highly unlikely to pass the Republican-controlled legislature.
Oh, womp womp.
Possession of small amounts of marijuana should not subject people to serious penalty. Bill authors Representatives Shay Sortwell, Sylvia Ortiz Velez, and Senator Lena Taylor said in the memo. The authors noted North Dakota, New Hampshire, Hawaii, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, and Nebraska have removed jail time for people caught with small amounts of marijuana. It's time for Wisconsin to join the national discussion, they said.
Yeah,
100%. This is what happened here. It became decriminalized.
But in what they're saying there's a better chance that they don't get this thing ever signed, and that they come up with their own regulations to build a market there before they were to do this.
Correct.
And it would make more sense for them to say, you're allowed as a citizen to buy our stuff and stay here, because if you sign that thing into effect, then they'll be able to run over to Illinois and Wisconsin or Michigan or whatever, and wherever they got their shit from, you wouldn't be able to bash them for it or prosecute them for it.
Correct.
But
Indiana.
I don't see yeah, fucking I just don't see that place doing that without signing their own.
Well, I think
market.
whether it gets passed, I mean, I hope it gets passed. Sounds like it's unlikely, but I think that it's, you should definitely, if there's good laws like that need to happen, then not that I'm really for any laws, but specifically, but keep bringing it up. Like, you gotta, like, at some point, like, people have to, like, push that.
Yeah.
Be like, yo, this is what we want.
Yeah. I mean, I fully am on board with that.
Yeah.
They need, yeah. It's I wish that everybody had the right to plants.
This proposal says this proposal would reduce the penalty for possessing up to 14 grams of marijuana for a misdemeanor, from a misdemeanor punishable by up to $1,000 and 6 months in jail to a $100 fine.
That's fire.
Yeah, current law allows repeat offenders to be charged with a felony.
Ooh.
This proposal would eliminate counting a previous charge of possession of 28 grams of marijuana or less. It would also,
Ooh.
it would also require local governments to fine people found to possess marijuana no less than $100 and no more than $250. This would raise the penalties in some areas like Madison, which has decriminalized possession up to 28 grams, or Rock County, which calls for a $1 fine for possession of less than 28 grams. Shout out Rock County. They
How cool
rock.
is that?
It says this effort is unlikely to pass the legislature.
But see, that's pretty much saying and it's within your own areas. Madison's a big fucking area.
Yeah.
Rock County is an entire fucking county.
Yeah.
And these people are like, what the fuck ever? All right? Just don't be ignorant about it.
That's
right?
what should happen. It should, you should work with your local, you have to enact change at the smallest level to get the biggest effect. You have to start, at your local area, and you have to get the other cities on board. And once you get the other cities on board, you get the state on board. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it works. So, like, don't be mad about who the president is. Be mad about who your mayor is.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
now we're talking.
That's where you can affect change. Unless
100%.
you're in, like, Washington, D.C., and you're part of that, then you can enact change where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Wisconsin Republicans continue to work on a slim medical marijuana proposal that would allow non-smokable versions of the substance for serious conditions like cancer and multiple sclerosis. And
And that's that.
And that's the end of the article. Well written.
Well proposed.
Oh, yeah, there it is. After all the stuff, the measure. Oh no, that's another ad. Never mind. Yeah, that's.
I mean, it's still.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Sentiment through the whole thing. There's a better chance that doesn't pass, but good on Wisconsinites
for sure.
for proposing at least a bill to not be held back from the plant.
Yeah. Sweet. I like that one. Good luck to our friends up north. Wisconsin or not Wisconsin. Minnesota has it legalized now. So we got more and more. Here's the other one from Illinois News Joint. I just wanted to see if there's anything new.
Minnesota.
No. Yeah, Minnesota is.
Knows how to party.
They do. And they have some great stuff going on. The Illinois Department of Revenue hosted, this is from December 1st. This is from Illinois News Joint. We don't have to get too into this because it's all about tax stuff, but I think it is significant for future framework for other people. Today hosted the 2023 Tax Practitioners Meeting and PowerPoint presentation. The presentation included one significant cannabis tax item, the business expense deduction.
That sounds like a fucking fun event, doesn't it?
The business expense deduction for licensed Illinois cannabis businesses. The new Section 280E tax law amendment was included in the state's budge HB House Bill 3817, which passed June 7th. When the new law becomes effective for tax years beginning on or after January 1st, 2023, cannabis industry businesses will be able to deduct business expenses that otherwise cannot be deducted federally pursuant to Section 280E of the IRS Code. The new law allows for the uncoupling for state tax deductions for any cannabis establishment operating in this state and licensed under the Cannabis Regulation and Tax Act, or any cannabis cultivation center or medical cannabis dispensing organization operating in the state and licensed under the Compassionate Use of Medical Cannabis Program Act. That was a very long paragraph.
How about it? Moral of that story is for a very long time, dispensaries especially have taken the biggest brunt of it, but cultivation as well have not been able to deduct things like, and I don't even know if this is going to cover it or not, but like employment was not a tax deductible fucking thing. There was a bunch of the shit that they were purchasing and paying for on a regular basis that cannabis companies could not write off on taxes. So you were paying a dick ton of taxes.
Yep.
A absolute astronomical fuck ton of taxes.
Yep.
And that's what they also signed up for. They knew what was going on. But
well, welcome to,
it's very cool that finally, at least within the state's bounds, is what this is saying, that, there's something being done to help alleviate some of the burden of tax,
Well,
and I don't even care if it's on the MSOs. They're paying an astronomical fuck ton of taxes and not being able to deduct things in the same capacity that all other places are able to do their accounting.
It's not all equal across the board, Dave?
Not even in the slightest.
Whoa, that's crazy.
And very actually kind of absurdly asshole-ish to the cannabis industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's not legal in Illinois. We just have a regulated structure to tax cannabis.
That's it.
Cannabis is not legal.
That's it.
We're still putting people in jail. In fact, we're still writing laws.
That's it.
To put people in jail for growing and possessing cannabis.
Oh, that's it.
It's not legal.
Yeah. Well.
That's all.
I'm into it.
Continuing on, the state tax deduction item states, Section 280E of the IRS Code for state tax deductions for years beginning on or after January 1st for the cannabis operating. Is this saying the same thing I just said again?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
that's
much.
Legal jargon.
Yeah, it's basically, it takes the whole thing. Here's the other thing I wanted to point out. Along with Section 280E, the PowerPoint presentation highlighted an Illinois cannabis tax receipts page. Illinois Department of Revenue listed the cannabis tax totals from the beginning of legalization in Illinois to October 2023. So I assume this is only recreational. And
Yeah.
that is 1.4 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1.4 billion, 26,879. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
In Illinois, in 2022, Illinois took in $450 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Taxes are collected from the cultivator tax, dispensary tax, state sales tax, dispensary tax per THC,
Yeah.
state sales tax, local sales tax, municipal cannabis tax, and the county cannabis tax.
Yeah.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 taxes
Yeah.
on your cannabis when you go and purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you are a medical user, and then it's 1%.
1.75 with the maximum potential
Yeah.
of 2. At least it was 1.75 where we were at.
Correct. Maybe. Yeah, sure. I said correct like I knew. That's,
It
yeah, like in comparison, IDOR revenue net state taxes include $344 million for casinos. That's the casinos brought in $344 million.
And cannabis did 450 million. Just
Million.
so we're all on the same page.
Right. $833 million for the Illinois lottery, $895 million for video gaming terminals, and $153 million for sports betting.
So cannabis did pretty much just short of what sports betting and casinos did
Yep.
by itself.
Yep.
And half of what fucking video gaming terminals took in. Them video gaming terminals are disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
895 million fucking dudes.
We've both had experience with the old video gaming terminals.
Yes.
And just imagine what is not being collected in taxes on those.
Yeah.
Yeah. No payouts.
No.
None. Never pays out. You got to come back. You got to come back when the owner's here, man. I don't know what to tell you. So I used to tell him, I don't know nothing about that, man. So that's good. It is good that I think it's good that we at least have something like this now for this. That means hopefully we'll have something like that for hemp businesses and other cannabis related businesses.
Yeah.
Possibly. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
This is another one, speaking of having a framework for something better. New York Supreme Court lifts marijuana licensing blockade, allowing regulators to process hundreds of new retailers. There's something else that I am excited about in here. This is also good, but this has something else I want to talk about later. The New York Supreme Court has officially lifted an injunction that's barred state marijuana regulators from processing hundreds of new retailer licensing, clearing the path to significantly expand the state's cannabis market. The court action comes days after the New York Cannabis Control Board approved settlement agreements in 2 lawsuits that have enjoined regulators from moving ahead with licensing since August. This decision brings much needed relief to the hundreds of provisional licensees who, until now, have had their businesses sidelined. Yeah, I wonder what that's like. Cannabis Control Board Chair Tremaine Wright said in a press release on Friday, I think it's only been a year. We remain dedicated to upholding a fair and transparent process as we continue to grow and support New York's cannabis industry. So one of the lawsuits that's been resolved under the approved settlement, Carmine Fiore versus New York State Cannabis Control Board, was filed by a group of military vets who argued that the state's licensing prioritization of social equity applicants who were most impacted by criminalization unconstitutionally omitted disabled veterans from the eligibility pool. Fair. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
Veterans should, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was in Illinois that to get a license, you needed to have a veteran on the board of stuff. There was weird how many different boxes you had to tick of people that were part of it, and yeah, it was crazy.
Early on in 2010, 2010-ish, 2011, my wife and I were, it was 2011, 2012 probably. We were very close to starting a vape shop in the, like a vape store for smoking cessation. because that's how I quit smoking in 2011. Vaping helped save my life, and I think it's a great way to quit smoking cigarettes. But with the idea that we were going to open a cannabis store because we knew it was going to be legal soon. But then we started looking at all the stuff, and it was like, that is
Oh,
crazy.
You needed millions
Yeah.
with an S, not one. Like I literally believe at the beginning they said something you needed to have $1 million sitting in a bank account to protect against your liabilities.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, but they did. All these people had whatever it was. It might have been 250. It might have been 500,000. It might have been $1 million. And all of them are drastically different when we're actually talking about trying to get somebody to give you the things. But at the beginning of cannabis, it really wasn't.
That's why you gotta go to MJ
doing this
BizCon
shit.
once a year and convince some Chad to give you, millions of dollars that I'll never see again.
Damn.
That's the meme I saw on Instagram. It was funny.
Damn.
So in exchange for dropping the suit, regulators agreed to grant each of the 4 plaintiffs a provisional adult use cannabis retail license at a site they pre-selected. The state further agreed to pause approvals on any conditional licenses until April 2024 in the interest of focusing attention on processing the current backlog. Also, CCB will be establishing a service-disabled veteran-owned business task force responsible for promoting veteran participation in the marketplace. The other lawsuit that's now been settled, Coalition for Access to Regulated and Safe Cannabis versus New York State Cannabis Control Board, was brought by existing medical cannabis operators and prospective adult use applicants. It similarly asserted that regulators were misapplying the state's marijuana law, and they argued that current medical marijuana businesses should qualify for licensing immediately as well. Also fair.
Yeah, I mean,
so they basically got the same terms of a settlement, which was they'll grant adult use licenses to the 5 registered organizations behind the lawsuit. So this is great. So New York actually can start working on their cannabis industry.
yeah, it's been rough out there, I guess. It's the same thing. Like it feels like in Illinois, I feel like somebody makes the lawsuit and drags the fucking process out so that the other people can continue to hammer down for the next year or two in the same capacity without competition. It seems to always be like some inside jobby thing, kind of. It's not like, it doesn't even feel like the new guys trying to get somewhere. It feels like the new guys were told by the old guys, like,
You got to wait your turn.
Go fuck this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Go start a lawsuit on the dumbest shit possible. Say that, and they'll find one lawyer. It takes one lawyer looking at this dumbass shit to go, oh, here's a hole in this. Let's exploit that hole. And then they hammer it down. They take it to court. They drag their feet through the court process. It takes a year or two. It's literally what happened in Illinois with our licenses. That's why there's not dispensaries on every street corner yet.
Yep.
It's because we dragging our fucking feet.
Well,
Somebody out there said, fuck that. The inclusion, I'm not included. You weren't included. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, they have the government, the state has no interest in speeding up the process for anybody because they're collecting all the revenue and they're, it's very heavily regulated and taxed and it's, and they've already got the people paying in. So what do they need to do? They don't want to
tax codes. I'm not fucking stupid.
I
Give me
know.
a goddamn, I understand basic accounting to myself where I at least could understand how to calculate fucking 36% out of something.
Right.
I'm not that dumb. So then just, and it's far more than that. I understand that in running a business and keeping enough money in hand so that you can buy whatever. But that's the whole point. Allow the market to regulate its fucking self.
Yeah.
That's been my whole point this whole time. Give peddlers licenses. Have a peddler's license. Say you're only allowed to sell $1 million worth of cannabis a year, or 2 million or 5 million. Put limitations against the amount of money that a single individual can sell, and then who cares? At least pay the taxes back.
Yeah.
And regulate them. Make sure that they pay their taxes by giving them a cap of how much money they can make a year, how much they can sell.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd agree with that portion of it. I think
Yeah,
that
you and me both, but fucking at least do it so that
well,
fucking something starts to move, and then you and I both have, and then you can apply for the next
yeah,
license up or
yeah.
whatever.
If there was a structure like that, it would at least you would be able to follow it. I'm not a fan of putting caps on that. I mean, I see what you're saying. There's definitely a framework, and there's actually a framework here, which is part of what I'm excited about.
Nice.
Something that could help us in the future, or that we could point to and say, hey, look, there is already a framework that works here. Let's adopt it. So amid the protracted rollout, illicit cannabis operators have proliferated across the state, prompting the governor to announce they would be ramping up enforcement. So let's see here. So the governor, Kathy Hochul, also signed legislation that makes it somewhat easier for financial institutions to work with state licensed cannabis clients, similar to our House bill that they passed, right? The one we just talked about, the 280E. So that,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
280E. This is the budget bill last year that included provisions to allow state level cannabis business tax deductions, a partial remedy to the ongoing federal issue. New York City has its own tax laws that weren't affected by the change. The new measure is meant to fill that policy gap. They also approved legislation that will allow hemp seeds to be included in animal feed for pets, horses, and camelids, such as llamas and alpacas. So they're like really doing stuff. But
That's
this,
cool.
this is the one I'm really actually excited about. As part of the state's effort to speed consumer access to legal marijuana, regulators also launched a program known as the Cannabis Growers Showcase. And we've talked about this either on your stream last winter or on one of the earlier audio-only podcasts, 100%. It's an initiative that allows licensed growers and processors to sell directly to consumers at the farmers markets. Now, as we've discussed, there is some stuff where the MSO has to be the point of sale, or the licensed dispensary has to be the point of sale. And they weren't really working with they didn't really want to work with the growers to do that. So it didn't work at first. But there is a framework here, and it is starting to like happen in New York.
Yeah, almost all of Illinois' cultivation is vertically integrated.
Yeah.
They have point of sale all the way to it's seed to sale.
Yeah.
Literally.
Seed to sale.
So yeah, and that was when the market first took off. Maybe some of them didn't because it was separated. There were actually ma and pa shops, dispensaries, right?
Right.
Like there was also a few ma and pa shop cultivation centers, and it took the beginning of this thing to work itself out to go, holy cow, I don't know if that works out.
Yeah.
Because the other monsters will consume all of us by the time this thing is done if we allow it to.
Yeah, because they'll just buy them up.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly what
They
happened.
just bought as many people as they could as fast as they could. They ended up almost monopolizing in a certain capacity. I understand mono is one, but they essentially monopolized cannabis into this brotherhood. There's 4 or 5 big players that slept together, and that was, it was that was how cannabis was done. But here it's pretty cool if there is a workaround where again, it's if you represent the quality product in the cultivation side, I, as the dispensary, will carry your product.
Yeah,
That's what I did. That's what we did at the beginning as a ma and pa dispensary.
Yeah.
We found the better shit and we carried only the better shit. And then more people came to our dispensary because of our averagely quality product. It just,
Yeah. So they had they voted to approve that program in July, accepted a bunch of applications, and then they had the first pop-up event kicked off in the Hudson Valley in August, and another was held down the road from this year's state fair in New York. See, I think that's something we can point to, or somebody can point to when trying to get the laws changed or extra laws here. either changed or added to. I think that's a great framework for people wanting to get into the cannabis industry or are, growers or geneticists or hobbyists to actually start a cannabis business and maybe even like a small craft grow. I mean, there's a whole, imagine the things you could do. And it's kind of similar, like you were talking before about building up. You know what I mean? Like you can only sell so much, and then you can do this and go to the next thing. Like if you have a framework and a ladder where you can like build off of that, I mean, think of all the opportunities for people.
That isn't capitalism. Trust me, I get it. I'm not being crazy.
Oh, I'm not against capitalism. I think capitalism
is it either.
Capitalism is great. Corporatism is what's ruining the country.
I think that everybody, literally everybody. How many people live in fucking Illinois? 13 million.
Right.
I think that they should be able to have 13 million retail cannabis fucking licenses.
Yeah.
And if every single one of us sold $1 million or $5 million worth of cannabis, and we'd be fucking low. But that's the whole point. That's not what's going on. And that's not what would go on. But having some smaller people that were good at what they did would absolutely murder the fucking underline of these monsters.
And then you could just get them all together and collaborate and work together and just, imagine what a great.
I mean, I like
how much
co-op-y life.
Yeah,
man.
that co-op-y life.
That fucking.
I think a rising tide raises all ships, and that you should support dope people. Just support dope people.
That was philosophical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice.
I mean, it is what it is. We stand on the backs of better men and women that came before us. So shout out to all those people.
Raphael Machulam.
Yeah.
You're my hero, bro.
Yeah.
I'm still
Bette Midler, you're my hero.
Yeah.
You're the wind beneath my wings.
You are the wind beneath my wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was good.
Anything else?
No, one day at a time.
Yep.
Smile always.
Yep. Stay hard, whether it's here or here.
I'm going to tell you the truth. Look into the mirror and tell the person you see in there, whichever person you see in there, that you love them.
Yeah.
Every day you should do that. 10 times a day, maybe. Maybe 10 times right in a row. Keep yourself really positively aware that you are doing something for the person inside the mirror.
Yeah.
And that it's worth it. And that everything that you want to do is worth doing. Because you think that it's beneficial regardless if it's to you or to somebody else. And you're worth being benefited, or the other people that you want to benefit are worth being benefited also. Love yourself. It's the best way to prosper, I think. I try to get philosophical,
That was
wasn't it adorable?
No, that was really profound, and I think that you're 1,000% correct, and I don't really have anything else to say other than we love you all. Smoke weed every day. Peace.
Yo, ding dong, we're done here. Time to go.